removed by 2 or 3 kills total. There is a basically managed to fend off the first initial push, find those 2 kills. After that, Sandbox bringing it back from a 5v3 to a 3v3 to make some magic happen there. I said it before, you're capable on both your attacks and defenses, otherwise you do not go flawless. And these kind of clutch plays you manage to pull off with a team, not just by a single player, a testament to that. That shows you that they know this map through and through.
Located by attackers.
Sandbox get the first lead in. Get the first step, and it was really last second and last minute as it could possibly be. 1 up, 1 bit of advantage. The 5 versus the build.
5 seconds remaining.
We see where we go from here.
Attackers are heading out to the
Sorry, I saw you were typing, but I was distracted by your typing.
Oh, sorry.
I know what you're typing about.
I know too. But as we are down in that basement take, or basement hold, it is often quite difficult to get rid of all the utility in time. Sandbox are currently trying to do is to focus more on the garage, and sometimes we see that go really well for teams, but more often than not,
that's good.
That's good. They knew there was going to be a Twitch drone driving through there to see if they can find some information. Now they don't have a way to clear it.
Effie isn't quite gifted. Somebody popping around, but the Echo drone is getting that with that gun. Great take, and Mephi wants to lead in. He was a huge player on the previous map. He's sort of pre-firing the hammer hits, and it takes somebody more foolish than brave, I think, to try and swing that corner.
Yeah, even though you know the other person is stunned, you're not going to want to take that fight. Arcaz might be a bit too late in actually opening up that hatch, because you just saw an extra Goyo canister to be deployed near that side of the map. So it seems like DK is aware of the kind of push that Sandbox is trying to attempt here, and juggling around some of that utility for later use. The smoke canister now comes in. Mephi's going to try and find himself an entry kill, at least an engagement. And of course look through that scope with the scope if he stands long enough still, but Arakazi finds one. Good Boy gets traded out. Coda drops as well. Suddenly Sandbox find themselves in a really good advantage again.
I mean, that was great sort of pinch play on those stairs. They can get Good Boy back up, but we've seen them get the body advantage before on their attacks on the previous sort of map, and things go away from them because of a DK player that refuses to die. And that player was often Yas, who isn't too far away from 2 players crouched over a hatch. If they are unaware of Yas here, he could suddenly bring this back in. One of them's taken the drop, missed the timing there, and unfortunately too late to the party. Woogieman is cooked a little bit inside his own box as Dammit gets out Soldier. He's doing his best to survive, but now it is only Yas. You know exactly where he is. Mephi's going to stay down for now as they're going to get that plant cemented. Great shot.
Attackers are activating the diffuser.
From Yas. But as they're getting the pick back up, as they're getting themselves back into the 3 versus 1, they're watching for the hatch. There it is, Good Boy. 2 in a row for Sandbox.
And he didn't have the time to check every single corner the entire time, right? So, like, as soon as that pickup happened, it was
Hello. Welcome back. We have found ourselves in with a full lobby, and hopefully no more rehosts will be required. Yeah, we are here on CEO. Now, we have had 2 rounds in a row from Sandbox. One was really last second, last throw, lost the first 2 bodies, and was able to pull things together. The second, well, it was a really well-played round. It was very structured, a great take against DPLUS's defense. There was a second where there could have been a big flank from Yas, but he just missed his opportunity. And it was one that was won out by Sandbox. 2 rounds, 2 plants. What happens back here on the top?
10 seconds remaining.
That's going to be the big question. Is DK able to hold it out this time? I mean, they had a great start, and I believe Coda did go unspotted when he was initially in that elevator. I'm not quite sure what happened to him after, as we just saw him kind of chase down that person that went up the spiral stairs, and then we never saw from him again.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Sandbox. It's going to be spreading out, go to multiple angles. It's just there to try and find out where these roamers are at, and shut them down as quickly as possible. Get them back towards the site so you can fully start to focus on that. It's Good Boy, where he finds himself in the open office. He gets spotted out, though, so that's an opportunity for someone to take a fight on. Oh, there's a drone gone.
I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a tragic loss that a Good Boy was waiting to catch the Echo drone. They had to read through, and it was sort of just getting an idea of what was happening underneath as well. It wasn't the biggest use of it. Koshed has taken over the role of the Solus. I'm not sure if they've just stolen it from Yas or Yas stole his army, but either way, going to be seeing if they can try and get a little bit more success from it. They almost don't. Instantly under pressure from the cover of the windows. Sandbox, they do suffer. Nova takes a lot of damage, but without a kill being netted either side, and Good Boy now in this position to sit and wait. Just surely this is Good Boy's to win.
He needs to be aware of this, though. I've just seen it.
Oh,
He gets the win as well, coded. Just barely survives, but a good call from him. He realized, oh, I might have actually been caught off by someone that's gone towards the basement. Goes for a quick jiggle peek, spots out the player, wins out the gunfight. Very important, because that's going to be the entry kill. And yes, he's taking a lot of damage, but he's still alive. He can still fight. And it's Solus, so he can stop a plant later on.
Yeah, almost having more success on the roll than Yas did in terms of driving themselves in. Gets the entry. They probably shouldn't have got the kill onto the Dockerbee, but, you know, take the success where you can. In the meantime, Sandbox is trying to put the pressure up, but Soldier over the top removes Mephi, who is just kind of in the middle of lobby there. Sort of free pickings. You have to look at the sort of situation where you've got two players trying to go up Spiral. One of them is still on the back end of the windows. They've taken the drop underneath. I'm not sure if that was entirely called. Yes, it was. And Demic, is concerned about the rotate and the flank. He's able to get the first fight. The ping is on the Solus for the second. Just gets it, and Demic suddenly fights back. But as I said, the Monty's alone. They have a player outside on the big windows that has to pull off a big rotate. The further Arakaze goes here, the more of a risk it's going to sort of turn into.
That's it, because you just saw it out there. The player that was hiding in the corner of the B bomb site was already almost an opportunity to find a secured kill onto that Monty. With 10 seconds left, they need to get a move on here. And as Yas will find Demic, it is slowly starting to fall apart right here. There's just the Monty and Nova left against Harper. The plant is getting underway. Harper, he's on your close left. Do you know? Yes, he does. Just the Monty now, but does he know where the plant's happening? No. So a full one-on-one plant against the shielded, extended Montaigne. It's just going to be a very tough fight, but all he needs is just one or two shots. You need to time this just right. Doesn't do that just yet. It's just painful to watch. And now he's locked out.
Oh no! Arakaze, I mean, he's playing this with the cool of an experienced player. Poor Harper. This is truly a man pushing a boulder up a hill. I mean,
if only you were Oryx now.
If only you were Oryx. Arakaze celebrated and cheered and shook. He knew it was time. I mean, that is the third time we've seen Sandbox get the plant down. Two of them, they had like 2 bodies less, and they pulled the round back in.
1v1 against an extended Monty is just not something you're going to win. 99% of the time. Like, the best call would have there been, I guess, to just try and plant and be a little bit quicker on the trigger as soon as they do unextend, but that's also very risky, like you might lose your life. So, just well played by Sandbox is all we have to say about it. And unfortunate, the DK again not able to find themselves around. Back towards the basement we go. Again, this one was almost a comeback from DK. Almost is a strong word, I guess. It was a 1v2 effectively. Turned back into a 1v3 with a pickup. Sandbox really showing off their attacks here right now, and showing off why they have been unbeaten for the entire year on this map. Pretty sure there's a lot of international teams that will be watching this game as soon as the band face comes on, and they see like, okay, unbeaten, why? And then go back to this VOD and realize, okay, these are the kind of plays they get away with somehow. Try and counter those.
They keep getting away with this for now, and you're sort of, as you said, thinking how they can counter this, how they can pull away from it. Do you know what's quite funny?
What is?
No, it's you, me, and Anne. Just before we came back into that round, we're talking about a certain 1 versus 1 instant with a Monty. Major.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, true.
And then we just happened to roll right into one. So surely this is yours and Anne's fault. It's not mine. I'm perfect.
I mean, the monster's already been brought before, so it's only logical that we would be seeing more of that to some extent. Anyway, top floor control needs to be taken very quickly here by the side of Sandbox. Minions already passed, and of course, eventually the basement is the goal. Now, the keeper barrier is going to be making it a lot more awkward to actually take this fight with Harper. Now, also a shield, it's also ADSs, and a shotgun on the opposite side of it. So, I don't think anybody's going to be looking forward to be taking that fight on the staircase there.
DPLUS. If this round goes away from them, you do wonder if they're sort of not writing off their defenses, if they're going to bring the time out, how much they expected this map to go this way, how much they expected to try and find themselves angling up towards the battle on Chalet, which could get very spicy.
There's Nova, what are you doing right now? The shotgun is instantly replying back after those punches. Now, there's one piece of utility gone. Surely Harper's going to be receiving a bit of pressure from multiple different directions. Oh, that's actually putting Yas on fire. He needs to run for his life before someone was able to actually reply. Good boy, misses the legs. Yas lives just a little bit longer. Just a minute left right now as Mephi will find Harper. So that's that shotgun taken care of without any damage done. Very well done.
Yeah, very, very precise take there on the back end. I mean, it's not easy, but you still had all the ADSs. You still had the player behind the shield. Maybe they were sort of, I would say, covered by flashes, but they've got all their pocket utility as well. So there really was nothing that was thrown in there other than Mephi just throwing himself in for the fight.
And sometimes that's all you need, just a Mephi, you know, in your team that just takes those fights and wins them for you. I love this angle that Soldier's trying to hold, by the way. He's going to try and make sure that as soon as someone steps up, he's going to be taking them down. As these Candelas are coming through, they should be aware of the plant that's happening on the side of Sandbox. Oh, is it going to be a time? Yeah, I actually managed to get him off. 15 seconds. Nova back again, trying to go for that plant. Here comes the Yokai drone. Is it going to get it? Yes, it did. Instantly back towards the plant as Yes finds Method to go aggressive right now onto the actual side. Finding success. Yes swaps over to the pistol, but unable to fire at the time. Will run out, and DPLUS will take it on the back of it.
I mean, they get their round. You couldn't have asked for a more tight way of doing it. The single echo drone doing the business twice there. Yes, full sending it across the site and thinking, I can get past the cover above. Distracted by the echo, the yokai. Brilliant, brilliant pushback there from DPLUS to just sort of pull back, you know, losing what they did quite early on. Almost losing Yas on the rotate as well. Good boy, you think if he'd have been able to get that kill, if you're in a 5 versus 3 in that situation and you have more control over that hatch, you lose the Azami as well. Those Kiba barricades came up in a bit of a song and dance towards the end.
Yeah, if you would have picked up that kill as the rotation happened, of course I didn't know, as they just put, you know, use a Twitch drone, they put some fire down, and then suddenly you see someone sprint over and through it. Like, oh, didn't expect a person to be in there. Of course, you weren't ready for any flush to respond on the back of it. So, unfortunate, well, not unfortunate, but a fortunate series of events for DK there, still being able to bring it back across. With that, it is 1 round on the board, but still we're looking to get potentially 2 more if they want to have a great fight for the second half.
So, we'll get a clean read on what's happening in just a second. Just having a quick swap. I'm assuming yours is in the similar place. There we go. Ah, more quality. Beautiful.
Love to see it. Now, Sandbox, of course, as they are still under attacks, is going to be trying to find a weak spot here. And sometimes it's going to be that kitchen plant. Sometimes it's also the open office. And Good Boy has gone into the open area relatively unseen, I believe. And decided to go up towards the top of main. And I'm not sure if they're aware. There's just been a goo mine that got tossed out. It's going to be the spot from the camera as well. The grenade to follow up. That won't find anything. At least it forced Harper out of his current position and told him, like, hey, you are being watched. you probably want to fall back, otherwise you're going to lose your life.
Minute 40 on the clock, and obviously finding ourselves towards this site as a not a last hurrah yet, but a first swing this late in the game. Posing some questions for Sandbox they haven't been able to answer as of this moment in time. They're being a little bit slower, more cautious in comparison to their early approaches here. Good boy round on the back end. They can try and bite and fight his way back through here. The hatches are soft. They could maybe try and rotate out with the shotgun drop if they wanted and dip themselves back round. But with the control of blue that they've got here and Yas's position, the Solace reading everything towards the pressure as well. Sandbox, they're not really angling themselves up for anything more than the stock drop.
Oh, still having some pressure around the kitchen. I believe that's going to be the rotation as well. So they're going to try and hope for. Good boy misses in another opportunity twice. Soldier now knows about one being around in the elevator. Some pressure coming up from above as well, as Nova was looking to go through, but he gets down through the wall. The diffuser now dropped inside. That might actually be very huge. It needs to be Mephi that goes for the recovery, but DK have themselves set up in pretty good positions right now and still worrying about someone being down below.
3-1, and you know that's probably going to change itself a little bit closer here. Sandbox don't want to fall apart as the collapse comes through. Mephi does big bits and Harper does go down towards the back end of the main stairs, but with Arakaze on the ground, they've still got to try and get this kit cemented. They do not want to have a round stolen out. The spray over the top is picked back up. And it was left late from the side of Sandbox. Just enough to push it over the end, but you do think, you know, one more firefight goes away from them and that's not their round.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering what exactly happened out there, because yes, one more firefight goes away from them and they don't win it anymore, but DK, they had the advantage, number-wise and time-wise, and then they just kind of all fell apart at the same time. It was hedge drops coming through, but that should be something you had covered. And, I mean, Yas coming back up after the side's already fallen, that's kind of a shame, right? Like, you want him either to flank them as soon as they want to execute, or you need him back at the site. If he's just coming back after the site completely fell in the opponent's hands, I mean, still Yas, but it's pretty much useless at that point, right? Like, you need to have him strike right before things happen, like we saw in Clubhouse with the hatch when it got opened up. That's the kind of plays we need to see from him if he's roaming.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, there goes that 3-3 opportunity. Sandbox have been leading this on their attack as well. DPLUS, you know, wanted to start on defense. They wanted to try and pull this together. And the statement was, we haven't seen this map from DPLUS. We have seen it from Sandbox quite a lot. They've won every single time this year. You have to have a response towards the holds. Though we might see more of DPLUS on the second half. We might see them sort of have a bit more success solving the puzzles that are put in front of them. But in preparation, the cover on the jump out, the many claymores. When everyone used to just get one.
Yeah, it was a lot more difficult to cover up all those kind of windows that everybody's just getting two now. So, claymores for everybody. Not everybody, but
everybody who's allowed.
Yeah.
Everybody who's passed their claymore certification.
Exactly.
Because that's how it works. Zero, Sam Fisher makes them run through certifications.
Yeah. And if you lose a gadget, it just means you haven't updated your certification. You know, it's time to go for a retest and you just didn't take it.
Yeah. It's crazy that some people fail their bulletproof camera certification.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's more logical for grenades, right? Like, imagine people messing up with those. But
you can imagine.
Bulletproof cameras.
How do you mess that up?
Yeah. Hot wire.
Barbed wire? I can see people cutting themselves on that, and I can see Soldier cutting through Mephi on the approach. Another swing round into CEO, and well, to be fair, they've started on the back foot a couple of times. The Echo is the one leading their own fight, but the cover comes through from Harper. Demic just wanted to throw themselves in, and you know, to go for a full send on the back of a man disadvantage, you're really just trying to keep the balance. They're looking for the fight over the back end. With the player inside the site, Yas is able to pick them up, looks to the spray to Arakaze, who's low. Are they going to jump out? Yes, they are. They get the kill, and they get Claymore.
He was just hungry at that point. It's just Nova now in a 1v4. He doesn't have to worry about any jump outs, given the fact that he's already in sight. Going through janitors. I mean, there's just so much utility still left, and this should really be a DK round. If this somehow goes to Nova.
With an Echo on an Echo drone, this cannot be their round. There it is.
Yeah. I know where he is. The stuns are coming through. Swing's coming in as well.
Yeah.
4-2 split then.
Yeah, 4-2. It's not horrible. It's not bad. As I said, I think we might see more sort of, all right, that was us showing our defenses. Let's show them what we know about their attack, how to attack their defenses in the second half.
Still think it's going to be difficult to some extent. I also feel like DK should have actually been leading this, or at least have the equal split on the rounds.
Yeah.
It's just, they've managed to find these advantages. I mean, I'm just thinking about the Montana just walked in, middle of the site, no one there to cover him. Somehow finds a win end of like the plant, and then locks out the opponent off the actual site. It shouldn't have been sandboxes around, but they managed to find it anyway. So that's credits to them, but because they could have made it a lot easier for themselves here.
ADS up and running.
Is the fuse going to stick?
Clear of ADS line of fire.
10
I have
seconds
hope.
remaining.
You believe?
I believe. I mean, it could be very useful
5
for.
seconds.
Oh, you were close.
Oh.
Like 1 second away from operator lock. It would have been fun.
It could be useful, especially if there's a Goyo, which isn't there. But put it on the hatch, you can basically remove all of it just with that one fuse charge.
You do have observation blockers coming through from Good Boy. You don't see this gadget too much. People pass the player certification for it. If you are unaware what it does, it's a sort of sense wall that's portable for defenders. So drones cannot see through them. They can be hacked, they can be stolen, they can be destroyed by explosives or whatever. But you just sort of lay it down. It's about 2 meters wide.
Yeah, just make sure that all cameras are not going to be able to watch through. And
I'm reloading.
as it get out of the way, that's eventually something DK will maybe have to worry about. But first and foremost, they need to find control of the first and second floor. Now, rotations are being spotted there. It's actually a good drone, good catch from Yas. As the 2 players have just returned to the site. How likely is it that there is more than 2 players that are roaming? Well, I think the answer is very unlikely. So DK now know that if they hold this main staircase, they're most likely going to be secure around the first floor and second floor.
There is one of the observation blockers, so if a drone rolls around that corner, they will not be able to see anything on the other side. There's also one on the bottom as well. They've made a little safety bubble of saying, nah, 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 nah. You don't know what's in here, and yeah, you can drive a drone through it. It won't destroy it. But it also means you have to be very cautious, because you have no idea if a player is in that position. And it's a caution. I don't want to aid towards it as of yet. Opening up their rotation, the hatches that they need, getting the work done, knowing that there's nobody that's going to try and get them from around the back end. The gadget to remove the Ella, the Grismot, so they won't get entirely stunned and torn apart. Take the drop is a very clever play, and Sam Cam, that one won't have the same success.
Yeah, so they now know there's going to be someone at least around below the elevator hatch. It's going to be 1 player accounted for as Woogieman. I thought it was eyeing up for a drop there, but still looking for opposite areas. Yes, in the meantime, together with the buck off Codit, looking to go through the garage. This could actually be a very smart decision because there's no real pressure being put there from the side off Sandbox, and a soldier misses the opportunity for a kill. He's going to be dropping down into that elevator, so fight really coming down in these next 5 seconds.
They've also dropped in towards gold as well. Coda gets the first onto Good Boy, and Harper doesn't get blown up, but he wants to try and take this fight as wide as it goes, and the payday is in for the player that's holding it down. Harper goes down as sort of kit carrier. There's the swing and the cover. It's suddenly only soldier left, though, as they lost out the engagements on the opposite side. Peppering bullets, but being shot himself, gets an elbow. Doesn't get anything more than that. A little bit too late for the push and the fire. A bit slowed down. Unfortunately for them, again. Couple of engagements. It's always one of those sort of pushes where if it goes a slightly different way, different round.
And didn't like they send in the diffuser alone, though, from the vault.
Yeah.
There's no one there to instantly refrag. Yes, eventually the refrag did come through. There's no one there to instantly pick up that diffuser and make sure that the pressure on the side is still going to be there. Because that diffuser drops, that's basically with like 7 seconds left on the clock, round over. No two ways about it. And DPLUS, they're calling their timeout now, or well, they did 20 seconds ago. As Sandbox is nearing a map point. 2 rounds away from pushing us to a third map. DK, of course, they want to prevent that. They thought they had something up their sleeves for Bank. So far, doesn't really seem to be working out. I mean, they have fumbled some rounds, we have to say. Sandbox managed to basically get back into what was a very clear and clean advantage for DK. We have to give them credit for that, but right now, that round just didn't connect at all.
Timeout has been called. That wasn't quite to plan, and as I said, you know, it's answering puzzles. It was definitely a more designated take. The Sam Cams to respond to the Grismots, the pull and the preparation on plays. Yeah, there was risks on taking the solo drops, but it does seem like they were sort of versed in how Sandbox wanted to hold, and maybe they're just missing that little bit of sort of passion in the play, that fire that can carry them across, where when they were missing that on the previous map in the 5-3 scenario, suddenly they turned it on and suddenly they tagged 4 rounds in a row and won the map. They're still always capable of it. Sandbox need to try and do what they couldn't do before and push themselves onto map point and then eventually map 3.
Those of you that are just tuning in and you're like, what are they actually playing for? It's not just for becoming first in Korea. It does come down to that in the end, but being first gives you stage skip for the major, gives you like 60 extra confirmed 6 invitational points, amongst other things. So like basically, if you win this series, you are going to be skipping the entire first phase, where you're going to be facing so many different teams from so many different regions, is that you're going to be saving yourself a lot of work, actually. Did he try to hack the echo cam, but he lost? Oh, oh,
yeah!
That's problematic.
Echo crime.
Code needs to stay alive now, though. But
it's the
I
best
just realized
thing.
he lost one.
It's the best thing to steal. There's nothing funnier to steal.
Go on for the next hunt. Spawning out some drones. He's gonna get himself inside of the elevator. It's gonna be very fun when Codit starts using these yokai drones. That must be so confusing.
I really hope he
defenders
gets
get
a chance
stunned.
to. Just, it's so rarely seen at this level, but also it is the funniest thing to steal.
I don't know if it's still up though, because we haven't actually seen him use it yet. Good boy though, from below with the pulse. To get him with Mephi as well, 2 C4s. That is going to be some real danger towards this plan from DK. And even though that yokai drone might have been hacked, oh, that's a very early detonation out there. There was no one in yet.
Peppering and hammering back down towards the far end of Banana. All of this being fed by Good Boy. The prepped C4 under the windows. 3 pings. And they look away, but they're trusting the cover that comes through from the teammates. They just need the swing. There's the swing. First player runs off towards Banana. Second one, I mean, blows up a little bit too early. The shotgun opens, though, and makes anyone else that enters a bit tough, especially as Yas got taken out when he tried to go for the swing. Harper underneath, though, cuts them, and that allows the 2 players to swing in. 30 seconds, just in time. Mephi is still there. As Coated gets onto Nova and Arakaza gets one of his own, it is back and forth. But with a solo Sandbox player underneath, that could be the decider. They get Harper. Soldier has to act and does. Pulls in a huge 2K.
15 seconds to go.
15 seconds. Mephi creeping his way around. Just slips on by the players somehow. Neither of them get the kill. The pressure's coming hot though. Woogie Man, great reaction.
Yeah, they needed to go for the hunt there, and you know with the SMG-11, it's not that many rounds in that gun. So after the first 2 bursts, it's more than likely that a reload needs to happen. And with that, they find themselves an important round. It keeps Sandbox off a map point. Sadly, we didn't see the hacked yokai be put to any use.
No.
It's a true disappointment. But it is what it is. We'll learn to live with it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Now open areas up next. Now, we've seen DK play here when they were defending, find themselves with an advantage, and then suddenly everything just fell apart in like
Attackers have
snip of your
discovered the
fingers.
location of a bomb.
Like one little snap, and boom, everybody's dead on sight. So Sandbox was really capable of attacking this from multiple different directions. And we kind of need to see that from DK now. This is the time where he gets to
10 seconds
use.
left before insertion. 5 seconds left.
No!
What?
A second. He stopped off last second,
Objective is to defuse
right before the
bomb.
lock.
I was about to say something, so I wasn't even looking over there. But I'm glad you were.
Being disappointed time and time again.
Life is tough. Sandbox. Please don't let it happen again. They need to get one more round. They struggled at this point, even better than this point. Now they're at the same point that they were at when, you know, DPLUS got 4 rounds in a row. They had good ideas, but DPLUS just had that lucky energy of getting in, driving across, and winning firefights. It seems like that's DPLUS's favorite trick right now. Is, uh-oh, we're in a bad spot. Let's kill everybody. But it's working well from them. They've brought a heat to some of these sites and approaches.
That's the thing that might just not keep working, right? Like, you might be able to pull that off once or twice where you basically circumvent the entire strategy point and just go for kills instead. But at some point, your opposing team will be ready for it. Either more focused towards the sites, bringing aggression back to you, or having the utility to deal with it later. Dynamic being on the Oryx is definitely going to be an interesting one. Is that actually the one that just took the fight with Code? I'm not quite sure. Someone was around in the elevator. Yeah, must have been Demic, already dropped back down, so that's going to be worrying DK about a potential player being out there. Whereas Demic can just hop up and down without really worrying too much about it.
They have the cams, they have the watch. Good boy has the initiative. They need to have the engagement go their way, and it seems Boogeyman is more than ready for it. Firing either side, gets a good scrape into Good Boy, even with the intel working in their favor. Sandbox is just sort of leaning into the fight, but he knew he was on the cams throughout that. He baited the engagement, Coded gets the rest of him. And whilst this is happening, it's just a very tricky place to try and sit in and survive. Demic goes down next, Soldier tears through them. He's 7-2. Since the rehost.
Yeah, been doing well, and also hacking the cameras right now. That's going to be important too. As Yas finds a clean cut onto Arakazi. Now Sandbox, 2 members left, 35 seconds. It is doable as the defense if you manage to stop the bleeding. Before it happens too much, but Yas finds Mephi as well. As he drops through, it's only up to Nova now as he heads to the top of square. He will find Boogeyman, but that means they are fully aware of his current position as the plant is happening. He's receiving shots left, right, and center. Finds another one. Brings it back to a 3v1. It would be an amazing clutch if he manages to stick this. 40 seconds left. The time is running out, and yes, we'll find him from the side. DPLUS find yet another round. I mentioned it before. This is the point where they managed to find 4 rounds in a row, and suddenly they get themselves a map victory. Well, things might be starting to change up here a little bit as well.
You obviously get more and more concerned the longer this goes on. They're going back to lockers. They're going back down to the sort of basement site here. They're going back down to where they've been able to find some success before. But if this goes away from them, then you really favor DPLUS Kia for taking the rest of this game. You've seen a 5-3 turn into a 7-5. We've now seen a 5-2 turn into a 5-4. And you're sort of having this moment of, okay, Sandbox, you gotta try and dig your heels in here. You gotta try and rebuff some of this approach that's playing. You have these great moments, but then, you know, things just seem to peter out towards the end of a half, towards the end of a round. This is your map, make it count, because you've still got Chalet after this, which, you know, if we even get there, if you don't come in hot with a good gun game in Chalet, you're sort of going to be brushed aside.
That's definitely it. Very aggressive map. You don't really sit still there. You need to take some fights to be successful. So, DK, you need to find 2 more to find yourselves up onto map and series point. And preferably, you want to do that before Sandbox is going to be able to get any on the board. But I have a feeling that as soon as this does go 5-5, we might see a tactical timeout from Sandbox. Skoda gets a spot out there, tries to instantly follow up on it with the C8. But he's unable to actually connect those shots. But definitely upping the pressure onto the Sandbox players out there.
Drones are wearing their way around. Good boy. Gets spotted by one. Almost wanted the fight to come around the corner after it. The soldier's going to ping as much as they can. You can see quick motions towards stock and over the top as well. He's not going to sit around and find out what happens. But Coated might. Pushing hot on the tail of the fight, but they're just a little too late to get Good Boy, who was a second from finding himself surrounded.
Plenty of time and everybody back in or near the site right now from Sandbox. So removes a bit of the struggle. Effie has other utility this time to play with, also on that Warden. So if he gets flashed, won't be hurting him too much out there. But a fire canister, that's definitely that big change that will stop DK from truly being able to put pressure down upon him. So what are we going to see instead? Coda swaps over to the shotgun. He doesn't quite know for sure what he wants to go for. This might just be a shotgun and shotgun fight, or as DK will have to decide to just go for a different kind of take.
Yeah, they had an idea, and we remember a gun swing on that exact position last time around that Meffy was able to win out. He's going to see if he can do the reverse. That drone rolls. He gets rid of it. He still has a bit of cover and protection. They know he's here. But how much utility and time will they dedicate as Good Boy's able to get rid of Yas in the meantime? Was that a rotate back over the top? Are they sort of catching them in the slow here? The cover of the glasses. He wants these grenades to come round. That player is far, far away, but he still gets the first fight he wanted. A bit of a missed moment. Good Boy gets the Ender Soldier. And he's already back on the top floor, Good Boy.
If he just cleans it up out here. Just one. And the second pump is... Oh, no. I said no way he got the kill there. He just saw like a little tip from the elbow. All his pellets just went in there. The Sandbox, they find themselves onto a map point right now, having the opportunity to lock it off, send this to map 3 as the decider for this grand finals. Yeah, of course, want to prevent that. They want to make sure that we are going to overtime instead. But that last round, that didn't look too hot. Now, luckily for them, it's been locked off until we do go towards overtime. So there's definitely a real opportunity we might head there.
They have the opportunity to push this over the line, but they still need to sort of have, I think, some of it come off the back of their own onus. There's little movements now in that round that give me encouragement. Good Boy being pushed back and then going back on that roam, going back on the flank. We haven't seen a huge amount of them moving away from their position. They've not always been locked into sight, don't get me wrong, but, you know, they're not being as fluid with what Bank can allow you as you sort of want from them here against the DK that is getting in, getting some control, and then getting themselves locked onto the next step. It just takes one loose player to cause problems. There was Good Boy. He got a kill, headed up to the top floor. That gave some pressure away. Oh, that took some pressure away from Meffy, who then swings the top blue.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Just hiding now. Wanted to make sure he's not being droned out. And he's on the scanner. And DK, as they start preparing themselves, their top floor. Well, they need to be successful now in the next round. So otherwise, a map 3 is going to be fact. Coming up next. So, was RC Roteros trying to divert from the mute jammers to not get caught off. And that impact will destroy just the RC Rotero, not actually the shield. So second attempt by Boogeyman needs to be made. Will be successful? Does he get it closer? Jumps. And it gets destroyed. Now there's no more impact grenades, though, on that person. Demi doesn't have any left. A third RC Rotero is coming in. Do they move in a new person? Oh, no, he just shoots it out this time. So because there's nobody there to try and follow up on these RC Rotero's damage, is just allowed to play like he wants to.
Number 4.
Surely that one
Fool
will
me
hit.
once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, shame on you. Fool me 4 times. I've got your shield.
It's a lot of utility for one shield. You could have moved Soldier over with one of those impacts instead, but it is what it is. They're out on the rappels right now, looking to find a kill, looking to find a way in. The Sandbox, they have nicely tidied themselves up. They're playing very close on the actual site. Just Good Boy below, which rightfully so, has the opportunity to stop any plant from happening with those impacts and those glasses. And he's just making sure that he's not being spotted. That's a big spot as well. Someone's still out on those windows as Coda takes a small bit of damage. They need to find a kill on these players on the actual rappel. As Coda finds Arakazi, there's now going to be an opportunity to go for a plant.
Again, the execute here, the sharpness is going in, getting kills on the back. The C4 over the top doesn't get anybody. I believe it got shot out there from the cover.
Yep.
There's Nova on the Echo drone, so there's only so long that can buy you. They're just tearing through these players from the side of Sandbox. As I said before, they're not being massively reactive to the fight that's ahead of them. They're not quite getting themselves looped round. EK just strong-armed their way into the site there. Get themselves the round 65, but, you know, it's a little bit awkward, I think, here from the side of Sandbox. You want to see more motion from them. You want to see more from them.
I mean, I was saying, like, how they stacked themselves up so nicely on the site. Surely someone was going to be able to stop those rappels from happening, but that didn't quite come through. And there's still plenty of, like, backup material. Like, we had yokai drones and we had the Solace that could be playing it from down below, but instead, both of them were taking the fights at that point. Of course, the rest of their team died, so it's not like you have that much of a choice anyway. It just fell apart really quickly. And finding that first rappel would have been round differentiating, right? Because then Coda wasn't going to be able to just run all the way through like he did and find the kill. Front office. And then others wouldn't have felt that comfortable sweeping in as well from that rappel. But we're going to see a replay here for Sandbox. They've just played this. Really work out. What do? We do it again. This time, maybe be more active on from DK on getting that shield quickly, because there was so much utility used for just a single shield. And of course that will help, but you can more like effectively use those Roteros in different pieces of utility as well.
Loading new mag!
Oh, that's
Hey,
a
there's
good
a
way
little
to
bit of
start
more
off.
movement. The jump out is able to get Soldier. He's finally able to reload his gun, and he's trying to find the long-range firefight. The player will come around to his left at any moment now, you assume, to get the kill, but...
Where? Oh my god, he didn't even see Woogie, man. I'm wondering what angle he used.
A filthy one.
It must have been, because he was trying to fight back, but Woogie was just kept tapping at him, and it seemed like he just couldn't see the player that was shooting at him.
It's a trade. It's a risk. Mephi was able to get one. It's Soldier as well, who has been a big player. Soldier's been a good fight through, but, you know, Yas has been a bit activated recently this game as well, with Coated, especially on the approaches here across the top, getting in and just hammering home with that Twitch rifle.
They've been able to hack the cameras with the Dokkaebi. Not quite sure which are still up, but that means they can use that to their advantage right now. See what's clear, see what's not. Let's just talk about using those RC Roteros for different opportunities, opening up these rotations, just any angles you can use to potentially get the plant down. Yas is going to get his drone through soon. The bees will follow as well, just to make sure that people will stay in their place, stay put. They don't actually take swings. Bulletproof is going to be the biggest problem there, as that's the main information tool that will be used for the actual side and to stop any plant from happening. Just to get away Good Boy, who's right next in Janitor, but at least can put some pressure on that from the opposite side.
Trying to get the catch of the player inside janitors, force them out. Again, it's sort of an arm's length away that they're holding onto the site itself. It's the 4 versus 4. Arakaze is utilizing Keep a barricade to get themselves a little bit more wiggle room, and Woogie Man gets knocked right out. Thought he saw a pocket of opportunity, but Good Boy just had the read on that. They have a man disadvantage. They've been able to make some things like this work before. Harper replaces the fell teammate. Goes for the call just to ensure that it's not entirely being worked out and caught out. Good Boy goes down. Cover from the Twitch on the window as Harper's able to get Arakaze as well. Suddenly the fortunes have changed. 3 versus 2 with down Good Boy. Demic, he tries to lean back in, cannot win the engagement. It is just an over here. Gets 1, gets 2. The player in the plant is going for the fight itself. They've pulled off Coated. He is still Coated. Gets the swing, gets the take. It could not have been closer though, but we're going to overtime.
Did he even see that there was another person out there? Because they were just stacked up. He finds the one, falls back. An extra bullet would have done the job. 1 extra round would have secured this map for Sandbox. And now DPLUS have an opportunity to lock this off in 2. They're on the attack. Now it's again going to be the basement take.
Use as many bombs as they can.
We've seen this be successful for Sandbox twice, so they shouldn't be worrying too much about this. But DK have attacked this twice as well, so they now know what works and what doesn't. So maybe this third take is going to be the best of them all and could just instantly be the difference maker. Securing ground here. Now, you need to find a way to deal with the player on the staircase. There's multiple ways to do that. It was previously a warden playing there. Most likely will be again. I'm just thinking of like a Capital maybe. Bounce some grenades in there. You definitely need to use some utility, but you don't want to let them get too close as well, because then the shotgun swing is going to be too powerful. Seems like it might be a combination of an air jab and some Candelas. At the same time, you also want to take CC under control before you actually start pushing the staircase that Mephi's on. You don't go for a one-on-one fight. Not again.
Overtime, not really where I expected us to be going here, but you know, the little risks didn't quite pay off. Time and time again, you have to look at every single approach they did, and yeah, there's other work that goes on. With Harper getting the first take here onto Good Boy, team that wanted to opt to start on their defense, and the site that they've won twice in a row, have I think for the first time lost the first fight on it.
I say it's not the best start if you are so confident of your hold potentially to hold out. You don't want to be giving away free bodies out here, as Yas finds one as well. And I said it, maybe the third time they go on, they've learned from what they were doing in the previous rounds, what Sandbox was doing in the previous rounds. And it definitely seems like it, because they've hunted down 2 of those roamers super effectively, leaving only 3 players left near the site. And that means they can just maybe completely forget about the player on the staircase, as Nova will find Coded, which will force the drop back from him to start.
Yeah, they take an important moment there. They're able to put the pressure back on a little. You have to remember, you know, how tight these engagements have been before. How the first time we attacked this out, I sort of said, well, they had a good idea of what they wanted to do. They just lost this one sort of engagement on the back end. And then from there, they were always on the back foot. Here, with this body advantage, alongside the Candelas, they really should be able to force their route in. They should be able to force their engagements. And, you know, you've got Mephi who might stop it if he's in the right place at the right time. You've got smoke canisters and C4s, so you can sort of play against it. This is really hands all sort of on deck right now for DPLUS to send this home.
Don't think they need to go for this default take. There's a mirror window. There's plenty of Goyo canisters around. This might be the wrong choice that they're going for here. And Soldier's waiting to see if he can get some support on one of those hatches. As Harper now coming in close as well. They're definitely seeming like they want to go for it. There's 2 more smoke canisters left in pocket. Time is slowly starting to run through. Theoretically, they should be able to hold this off for long enough as the fire now popped as well. How are you going to be able to get this plan down? You need to find the kills instead, and as that grenade comes around the corner twice, there is going to be at least keeping them occupied a little bit, forcing them to not actually go for the swing. But they're stacked up there. 3 people. Why haven't you gone to garage? Why haven't you gone through the main stairs?
There's a big rotate from the man with the kit right now. They're going over the top. The Candelas are going to roll their way through on the back end, but the planter is only just dropped into sight so they can get close to the wall itself. They've taken a big route round. They're looking for the engagement. They've got the close cover, the 3 versus 1 at this point, and Mephi wasn't quite in the place to stop this. Cannot get the connection with Harper either. DK.
They salvage.
From 5 to 2 to 7 to 6.
That was a salvaged round, Emmy. That was not like... It sounds weird to say, but when 3 people are stacking up on the actual main breach area where you usually get the plant in, with 30 seconds left, the fire pops off, 2 smoke canisters in pocket, you know that that plant is not going to be happening in that spot. It's the right call that they rotated around. It's just that they left it again to so late DK. A single bullet could have done the job. If one of the players of Sandbox would have rotated back up top, would have retaken that hatch as soon as the drop-ins came, round over. But they found a success they needed. The 3rd attempt of attacking that basement, they managed to clean up those roamers super effectively. And that might have just won them this game.
The timeout is obviously called their first of the day. Didn't take one in the first map. Believed that they could push it over when they needed to. Have taken it here in the second when, well, they need to. There really is no other room for stumbling, no other room for things being taken out of their favor.
Now, of course, we saw Sandbox go for some aggressive plays over the top after they hold so well. I think that is the main reason why they've lost it, right? Like, they didn't have the man advantage to just continue to fight. They tried to go for a jump out. Not sure if that was the right choice, but that leaves me wondering, is DK going to try and do the same thing? Are they going to try and bring some aggression towards this play? Or are they just going to be fully stacking themselves inside? Remember, this is where we saw the Monty just lock one of them out, and I believe the previous time Sandbox attacked, they were also successful on this site. So DK, again, must be aware of what went wrong. Should be prepared to deal with those issues as they get on what could be the final round.
This first engagement might be quite telling. Now they have a bit of a rock and roll loadout here, and they want to put their pressure on towards CEO. Now CEO was lost the first 2 times that we had it as a defense from DPLUS Kia. They won it the 3rd time. But you have to remember those first 2 were also quite close. It included the Monty clutch, the 1 versus 1. It included the 1 versus 2 sort of plant position with about 20 seconds, 15 seconds, if that left. So Sandbox have an uphill here. They have a struggle. They have a tricky challenge ahead. The break there should get the... No, quite.
For a second there, I thought Yas picked it back up. It's just the way the camera played. XRC terrors are coming in, and that might be a very big one. Not being able to find any utility there. You just open up some verticality. It's not going to be helping you out as Sandbox, especially with how heavy you are currently on the roof and the rappels. As the 3rd RC Rotero is coming in, you start wondering, what are you taking out? Okay, that's the bulletproof cam that surely will fall. He's for only 1 left in pocket now.
Rotate on the roll of the Solus underneath. We said they sort of picked up the operator off of Yas, who was kind of using them as a bit of an aggressor, but Coded, I think, has been smarter about his play. He's keeping himself alive and prospering underneath. As long as he's there, and Sandbox aren't writing about him, you think of those near-miss plants we've had before. Well, that floor is all soft, baby. And that is something that he will feast on if he isn't covered. Mephi going for the smokes, the covers on the blind for Candelas, deep all the way across. There is the camera that's getting some of the eyes. Woogieman takes a bit of damage. The swing through, they don't quite see where he's gone. They're trying to get the break. Does get 1 kill on the back of it, Woogieman. Now Yas gets one of his own, and there goes Yas. Good boy round on the back. Woogieman's getting the camera in place. There's a ping close on the player, but he gets dropped. Whilst he's on the cams, it's all down. Decoded now, gets the down onto Demic.
Attackers dropped
sort
the
of
diffuser.
2 versus
Attackers
1
recovered the bomb diffuser.
at this moment in time. They've picked up the kit. There's the pings on the players. We're going all the way.
That was such an unfortunate positioning there from the Echo, just getting shot out after repositioning those yokais. And DPLUS, they've lost there twice. They won it once, and then they lost it again. Putting us to round 15. Again, basement coming through from Sandbox. They also realized, okay, our aggressive approach didn't work. Maybe we should just tie it close. All get together.
Defenders,
Play this a
protect your
bit more
bombs from being
turtle.
defused by attackers.
Use our man advantage and the time it takes them to clear out on the main server stairs to our advantage. Not sure if Mephi is running a shotgun on that Jaeger, or if we're going to see Arakazi play on the stairs position, or if Sandbox have decided that they are no longer going to be playing out there. I think would be a mistake because they've been pretty successful on that staircase.
10
Left
seconds before
teetering
insertion.
on the edge of this being the classic best of 1 of 1.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Next round isn't going to be the decider on who wins,
Attackers'
but
objective is to locate a bomb and defuse
it
it.
is a decider on just how much winning will be done by Sandbox. Either way, they're still going to the Atlanta Major, but the difference, the stakes of the Phase 1 versus the Phase 2, missing, a fair few games, days worth of siege, guaranteed SI points as a distribution, at least 50 more, which for one of these two teams, for their region, with who is getting into the Major, should be the factor of them getting to SI. Yes, they have this first drone tucked in. The second is still in pocket. Good bit of utility removed from the first drive through.
And as long as that drone stays alive, it's going to be recharging those zaps, which could be used later on again to move additional pieces. I mean, you saw it with those information blockers. One of them taken out. There's still one right next to him. It's probably going to be next, because if you want to go for a vault drop, you need to be making sure where these enemies are. Dakota just droning out the top floor will be confirming it is going to be clear. Now the first floor is the next target. Look at that utility. Just a shield, an information blocker, a Goyo canister, and a smoke canister. And a shotgun right behind it. Don't forget that. And an
They're
ADS.
pretty
So
kitted.
really trying to hold on. Yeah, so it'd be a shame if something happened to it.
It would be a shame. And, well, there's not a way it's going to happen with grenades. They've not got any. They've only really got the Twitch drone to try and eke in and take out some of that utility, and they might be able to burn the ADSs to make them think that there's pressure and force them off. But otherwise, without a very sort of cocky swing from an Ash, you have to put yourself in a bit of danger. Try and remove that player and remove that utility. And it's this hold that they've done pretty much every single time. I think it's had varying amounts of utility behind it, but the parts and the pieces have always been the same. Those are being removed. Second Twitch drone making its way around. A minute left. And here comes that focus. How much will they
They're
be?
just there for a bit of support as they put down the Claymore. Wanted to make sure that there was no one to instantly follow up on that, as Nova is going to be getting his Yokai drone in position. Making sure that wherever the drop is going to be coming from, he is going to be ready. Soldier checking his drones to see if there's still anybody out there. He's looking to drop the elevator, but he doesn't want to do so alone. He needs some support from the opposite hatches as well. As Demek is quickly checking out the garage. There's no one there yet. I don't think anybody's looking to go over for a rotation. They have spotted the drone, so if they do, that has given something away.
There is an easy take. Very well prepped. There's a body balanced back into Demek's hand, though. He watches onto the back, and you need DK to put the push behind it. 20 seconds left, and it's turning into less and less as the time ticks on. The smoke canisters under the vault hatch mean it's pretty impossible to drop, but Harper's the one with the kit. 2 bodies fall to Demek. No more as it's traded out round the back of green.
No, Mephi.
And at this point, with Woogie Man on the far end, with an M870 shotgun being the end of it, we're going to Chalet.
Mephi able to just walk over when he realized, oh, there's nobody watching me anymore. It is time to go for the flank. And DK almost able to close it in 2 map, but Sandbox just a little bit too strong. They will remain unbeaten here on Bank, and that means a 3rd map will be necessary to decide which of these 2 teams is skipping that first phase at Atlanta.
Only just, Sandbox. Only just. And that is the main